Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to yet another video here on the channel now. Ton of things have happened this week, and I mean a ton of things. We got a bunch of new developments involving the Russia-Ukraine war. We also got Joe Biden's first State of the Union address, which happened just yesterday. An entire country is literally getting canceled over its involvement of the war. Somebody in New York decided to smear feces onto somebody. All of these topics are going to have their own separate video, so ton of developments involving Russia and Ukraine, State of the Union, the left obviously going nuts over it, mandates are finally coming to an end and we're going back to full normal, so a ton of things and a ton of new developments have happened over this past week, so we got a lot to talk about. Starting with the State of the Union. So Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, what happened on that day besides baseball getting canceled? And the war with Russia and Ukraine raging on with no end in sight, what other special things happened on this day? Well, March 1st, 2022 was President Joe Biden's very first State of the Union address, which I watched myself, well, at least the highlights, and it made me want to go and gouge out my eyes just like Mariana Mortigard Gleskov. Believe me, I bet I'm not the only one who had that same exact feeling when watching somebody who has an approval rating within the mid to low 30s speak. So what I wanted to do is give my own thoughts and analysis of last night's SOTU address. I'm pretty sure you should already know what my opinion is already, since you've already saw what I felt like when watching it. All in all, here are my own thoughts and analysis of the State of the Union address. I will have the transcript of the entire State of the Union, link in the description below. You can read the entire transcript of yourself instead of watching the whole hour of the entire speech, which in my opinion makes my analysis a little bit easier than just listening. But let's start things off by giving this speech a grade. How will I grade this speech? I'm not going to give this State of the Union address an F, like you expect me to. Instead, this State of the Union speech, this State of the Union address, I'm going to give it a D- rather than an F. And here's why. Joe Biden, and I completely appreciate him doing this, absolutely and completely fucked the left right in the ass. In his speech, he said, and I quote, "We should all agree, the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them. Fund them with resources and training they need to protect their communities. I ask Democrats and Republicans alike to pass my budget and keep our neighborhoods safe." There's also something else following that statement that I will address later in this video, but let's talk about what Biden said right there. Fund the police. So Biden basically backstabbed all the AOCs and the Cori Bushes within the party just by saying, fund the police. In the wake of the George Floyd riots that were going on 2 summers ago, I'm pretty sure the vast majority of you are familiar with this slogan, defund the police. This is a slogan that the left has been using throughout these riots in the wake of the George Floyd killing. Democrats, even Biden himself at one point, called for the defunding of the police. In this State of the Union speech, and this is where the hypocrisy comes in, the mainline Dems, including the Pelosi's and the Harrises, all came out and said directly to Ilhan Omar, AOC, and Cori Bush's faces, no, we will not defund the police. Shut the fuck up and stop saying it. In addition to that, Biden did not mention Medicare for all. He did not mention whether he is going to cancel student loan debt, and essentially throughout the speech, he basically echoed what Trump would have said. It's no wonder the left are so pissed at him right now. And this is why this speech is a D- rather than an F. So he does get some points there. However, contrary to him disagreeing with the left on certain issues like defunding the police and amongst other things, he follows up with his fund the police speech with calls for gun control and will do everything in my power to crack down on gun trafficking of ghost guns that you can buy online, assemble at home, no serial numbers, can't be traced. I ask Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence, pass universal background checks. Why should anyone on the terrorist list be able to purchase a weapon? Why? Why? Dear God, the way he speaks. And folks, ban assault weapons with high-capacity magazines that hold up to 100 rounds. You think deer are wearing Kevlar vests? No, your average Joe. That's not what we're trying to say here. I mean, there were a ton of gaffes in this speech. I'm not so sure if he was reading off the teleprompter or if he wasn't reading off the teleprompter, but there were moments where he called the Ukrainians Iranians. There was some stuttering here and there, making unfulfillable promises, going back on some of his promises that he made while he was campaigning 2 years ago, overly praising Ukraine and condemning Russia nonstop, which, let's face it, Russia is evil. But for a State of the Union address that talks about the United States of America, there's Ukraine flags everywhere. Support Ukraine all you want because Russia is evil for invading Ukraine is a fact, not an opinion. But aren't State of the Unions supposed to be about the country's progress, not the world? Save that for another address. That's what I suggest. He didn't address the supply chain crisis going on under his administration. He didn't address the shortages that we're seeing right now. He didn't address inflation that is happening right now. He did, in fact, touch up on the economy by saying, in fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs that last a year. More jobs created in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America. That's just people going back to work. Can you please explain why everything is expensive now? Why is your approval rating on the economy low if people are happy about new jobs being created? Your approval rating should be much higher than it is right now. Why is it low? Back to the gun control part of the speech. I ask Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence. Ban assault weapons with high-capacity magazines that hold up to 100 rounds. Good luck with that happening, Joe. Keep in mind, the AR-15 can't hold up to 100 rounds, and if they can, they probably are drum mags, which, by the way, are already illegal, but can still be acquired on the deep web, FYI. The most rounds that an AR-15 can hold, most civilian AR-15s that I've seen, is 30 rounds of 5.56 NATO ammunition. Nobody needs 100 rounds anyway, and nobody has 100 rounds anyway. So what's the point? The AR-15 is not an assault weapon. It is a semi-automatic rifle. Assault weapons have select fire, full auto, semi-auto, and 3-round burst. The AR-15 only has semi-automatic, therefore not in that category. Joe, I listened to your speech. I read the transcript. There are some things I definitely agree with. Supporting our military. Strongly agree. Creating jobs. Strongly agree. Calling out to defund the police cult and the hammer and sickle gang. Strongly agree. There is a great reason why your speech is a D-. Things I agree with. Only reason why you're saying this is because 2022 is a midterm year, even though what you're saying is not really helping you because your approval rating is still in the mid-30s. Refusing to acknowledge and address certain issues. The shitty economy is one of them. Oh yeah, we created 6.5 million jobs. How are these people going to be able to pay their own mortgage? How do these people who are working in these newly created jobs able to pay for gas? Prices of everything are going out of control. Oh, and what about those 13 dead soldiers out in Afghanistan during that botched withdrawal of yours? And funny thing is, while I was watching this speech, Nancy Pelosi was just out there rubbing her fists together with a creepy grin on her face in a very eerily fashioned way. While Biden was talking about our fallen soldiers, he started talking about his son, Beau, who tragically died of brain cancer, which was more than likely related to the battles he was in, Serbia, Bosnia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Albania. Like, he fought in all those battles. And he served his country. At least he accomplished something, unlike his crack brother. But Beau died from brain cancer, which somehow was related to some of the battles that he was in. God bless our military is all I gotta say. Very sad that some of these men who fight in our wars and serve our country come back completely different from who they are. They get PTSD, they are missing limbs, they end up with cancer, like in the case with Beau, and they sacrificed everything to serve our country and our liberties and our freedoms. Many of these people don't make it out alive, and these people have the ultimate bravery, and ergo, they deserve the most support out of anybody in this country and arguably the world. So if you're a veteran watching this video right now, thank you very much for your service and dedication to our great nation. Thank you for your bravery and your courage and the chutzpah that you endure when fighting overseas. And this is why I stand for the national anthem and sing my heart out for you guys. So thank you for your service, and may God bless each and every single one of you. Anyway, while Biden was talking about our military, fallen soldiers, and his son dying, and the fact that they might not even be the same person after they come back home, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even Madison Cawthorn all screamed out 13, reminding everybody about the 13 dead soldiers in Afghanistan, FYI.
And a flag draped coffin. I know. One of those.
And they got completely grilled and booed by everybody in the chamber. I understand why they got booed and called out. I mean, he's talking about our military. I stand and support our military each and every day, and they deserve our support every single day. Do I understand why these people are pissed off at them? Of course. But 13 of our great American soldiers died while in Afghanistan during a botched withdrawal. Even the legacy media attacked Biden for not mentioning the 13 dead Americans out in Kabul. The same people that praised Pelosi and called her stunning and brave for ripping up the transcript of Trump's State of the Union address back in 2020 are now attacking Boebert and Green for calling out Biden for refusing to mention the 13 dead Americans in Afghanistan. I thought that was funny, hearing them scream. I thought it was actually pretty brave of them to actually mention that 13 soldiers just died. At least show them your support if you want to keep praising the military in your State of the Union. All in all, what's wrong with this speech? It may seem like nothing is wrong. He's talking about our military. He's talking about job creation. He's talking about the future of this nation. That's what every State of the Union address is. But I'm giving it a D- because, again, what has his administration accomplished? Aside from a botched withdrawal, 7.5% inflation, 6.5 million jobs have been created under this administration. How are they going to pay for their basic needs? You have soldiers who died, soldiers who were held hostage and were never rescued while in Afghanistan. You have a ton of inflation, shortages of everything, and I literally mean there is a shortage of everything. Gas shortage, computer shortage, chicken shortage, beef shortage, food shortage, a whole supply chain crisis, a shipping crisis back in California. And now with the drama going on in Russia and Ukraine, inflation and shortages are probably going to become even worse. And all you can do is pat yourself on the back about an infrastructure bill, which, by the way, a bridge in Pittsburgh collapsed as soon as it passed. 6.5 million new jobs created of people who can't even afford basic needs. Completely failing in Afghanistan, having thousands of American soldiers stuck in Afghanistan for a better part of 2 full months, 13 of which were unjustly killed, losing an off-year election in 2021. Joe, nobody likes you. I don't mean to be frank over here, but your administration kind of sucks right now. Failures of your administration outweighs your successes. Newly created jobs can't afford to pay for literally anything, thanks to high prices and inflation. You ended a major war, only for it to backfire completely, and to make the situation in that country completely worse. All the promises you're making, such as ending gun violence, unachievable because, again, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema happen to exist. Gun control is not popular amongst the average American. Good luck trying to follow through. So congrats on all the accomplishments at least. Pat yourself on the back all you want, but it's not going to help your approval rating whatsoever. People still dislike you. Also, final note, quit it with the virtue signaling. The situation in Ukraine is awful and I support them. The average American is already sympathetic to Ukraine, but making this whole situation about Ukraine is not going to help you either. Weak speech, D-. Approval rating still stuck at 30. November 8th, red wave go burr. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description below. Most importantly, as always, since I say this at the end of every video, in the description there are also 4 other links to other video hosting sites that I use. BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey. Used to be Storyfire, but I don't use that anymore. There are also going to be exclusive videos on those sites that don't really fit in YouTube. There are some content that don't fit on mainline tech because they go against guidelines. There are some topics that are verbatim to be talked about. So some of these videos will be moved to new tech as exclusive content there. It's just to encourage people to switch, quite frankly. But be sure to follow me on all those sites as well. But as always, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.